Hello, good afternoon. It's Saturday the 2nd of July 2025. Sorry, not 2nd of July, 2nd of August 2025. And as you can see, I'm here back in Sheffield city centre because, as I promised on some of my other videos on the new grey to green in the city centre, I said I will come back sometime in the summer to see how the plants are going, to see what the grey to green is looking like, to see how well kept it is, etc. And yeah, so let's have a wander down and see. So I'm just here, just at the edge of Barker's Pool, junction of Barker's Pool, Leopold Street, Fargate, Surrey Street and Pinston Street. And there's the town hall. And yeah, first impressions are, as usual with Sheffield and with Sheffield City Council, could do better. So we can see there's some grasses that have died, there's some places that just haven't got any planting in. We've got a shrub there. I'm not sure what it is. Could be an Amelanchier that looks very close to being dead. There's branches. There's at least one branch that's broken off. There's not a great deal in flower, and what it is very spotty. Now, they've recently added these large stones here, which I would rather see planting, but if these stones have been placed strategically to kind of stop people walking across the planting, then actually having a few of these strategically placed stones might be a good thing. But as you can see, there's a lot of litter around. There's a lot of bits of litter, mainly cigarette butts, cigarette tabs, because of course there are no bins nearby, so people will just throw the cigarette butts down, and that's it, but really. And again, this one, well, the grasses that are here seem to be doing well, but as you can see, I mean, it's so tokenistic. If you look at the original plans of the grey to green, those kind of artistic impressions, this is a massive colour in summer. There's nothing there. I mean, the grasses look fine, but you know, there's still plenty more space to plant something of colour there. So let's go have a look at this. And again, it's still very much a work, you know, they claim that this has been done and completed, but it's still very much a work in progress. Certainly along Pinston Street, they're still resurfacing that. So again, the overwhelming thing here is all the litter, all the cigarette butts. But there is a bit more colour in this bed. We've got some Rebeckia, we've got some Achillea, we've got some Scabious, we've got a Sedum down there, we've got some Verbena, we've got some Niphophia, we've got Brunnera, we've got Euphorbia. But it's all too little and it's all too spotty. And again, you see there are no bins, so there's a lot of cigarette butts. Now these cigarette butts, you know, as long as it's nothing bigger than cigarette butts, if there was a load of planting around here, you probably wouldn't see the cigarette butts. You know, you see other bigger pieces of litter such as plastic cups and Greg's wrappings and whatever, which obviously is still a nightmare. But if you had more planting here, the cigarette butts wouldn't be an issue. And then we've got a water tap here. Yep, that works. seems to take a long time to turn off though. Okay, so I suppose that enables you to fill a bottle, maybe a 2-litre bottle. Luckily we're going to get some heavy rain on Monday supposedly. There is a deep low pressure weather system coming in. Let's see how much rain we actually get. What tends to happen when a low pressure system comes into an area of high pressure is that the high pressure seems to cause the low pressure to fizzle out somewhat, to kind of, it reduces the impact. But it looks like this low pressure might actually be coming in on quite a strong jet stream that kind of will actually, shall we say, push the high pressure out of the way. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Right, so let's have a look here. Oh, actually, I forgot to go over to the other side. There's another planting area over here. Oh, I can't get that way. Damn roundabout. So yeah, obviously it's the summer holidays now, the kids are off, so, and this is why you've got this big open space at the top of Fargate, so that you can have some real proper old-fashioned, really good, beautiful carousels roundabout. Yeah. But yeah, there's this section here at the top of Surrey Street. And again, the planting is very sparse. There's nothing of colour other than the pink over there. We've got a tokenistic Rudbeckia. Right, so yeah, right, okay. So yeah, it looks like I was right, I was correct. These 3 granite blocks here are very much to stop people from walking straight up and then straight across here to go on to Pinston Street, which is obviously what these shrubs were meant to do, although one of them's clearly dead, and the other one, again, that looks like it might be an Amelanchier, looks pretty much on its way out. And so what they've done, they've actually redone this, because they're redoing it because this came right out to that triangle there. So obviously, if you're going to stop people walking across, you're going to need quite dense planting here with quite a lot of shrubbery, or you can just re-landscape it as a kind of footpath area, which I think is what they're going to do. And then people can walk up there, walk across here if they want to access Pinston Street, the town hall over there. So it looks like, it looks like they are prepared to adapt the scheme as it goes on, and they see which bits work and which bits don't. The only issue I have is that there isn't any need for these. This can be done by having planting, by actually putting in decent quality shrubs, evergreen shrubs, that will block a person's way from walking across. But you need to make sure that that area is kind of fenced off for, at least a year while the plants get established. It's looking quite busy this afternoon. The problem is, it's looking busy, but I'm not seeing a lot of people spending a lot. I'm looking at people, what they're carrying How many bags can you see people carrying where they have Marks and Spencer or H&M or WH Smiths or O2 or any other branded name bag? We've got a Superdrug bag there. That could be an old one that she's reusing. Very, very few people don't seem to be buying stuff. They may be buying the odd drink, they may be buying the odd bit of food. Certainly here they're queuing for this mobile subway, it looks like. But anyhow, back to the Greater Green. Yeah, so again, you've got litter. If I was being really generous, and I'm not really a a very generous person unless it's absolutely deserved, you could say for a Saturday afternoon, a little bit of litter like that is not too bad. But we'll see how much worse it gets as we go down. But again, there's just not a lot of colour. You got a bit of scabious, you got some thyme, you've got some purple aster, you've got some white sedums. Again, there's a few plants that have died. Some plants that have either been taken out because they're dead or they've been pinched, I'm not sure. I was worried about that pine. That pine will cost hundreds of pounds, if not into the thousands, because of how big it is. And yet, look how much of it is dying back. Now, I think that will survive. I think once you cut the dead out, I think that will survive. But again, any newly planted scheme like this, doesn't matter how drought tolerant the plants are, you need to water them to get them established. And that requires watering in the first season. After that, if they're drought tolerant, they should be fine. They need to go through a winter of wet, and then they should be fine. Luckily, most of these seem to be okay. We've got the Brunnera there. We've got some Rebecca. But when you compare it to my video walking through the original Greater Green, the plant diversity is really quite poor. But this so far is probably the best bed that I've seen, on Fargate. So let's wander down and have another look and see what's happening down here. So yeah, we've got a dead, what I think is an Amelanchier. Can't see any green shoots on that. Let's just have a little look. Oh, there is a bit of green there. There is some green, okay. I can see a vibrant bud. I can see a few vibrant buds. This might be okay as long as we now get a fairly decent amount of rain. That might be okay. Okay, got some anemone, got some Rebecca. Got some Ajuga. The birch seems to be doing fine. We've still, for some reason, got the railings round the large disposable containers there. Why the builders have just dumped these on here like that, crushing any plants that are under there, I have no idea. So that's not good practice. Slovenly attitude again in Sheffield, just this kind of it'll do kind of attitude, which absolutely boils my, excuse the language, boils my piss. Really, really boils my piss. No, you don't just do what's acceptable, you do the very best that you can. So the mountain ash looks okay. The Gaura looks nice, but again, that's not a long-lived plant, this white one here with the white flowers. You might get 2 or 3 years out of it, and then it's gone. So as you can see, there's just not a lot of colour. Lots of evergreen stuff, pines, hebes, some salcococca, some grasses, and again we've got bits of litter. But yeah, it's not as bad as Broad Lane. But then again, I would be extremely disappointed if it was as bad as Broad Lane. And again, I still no idea why. Oh, I do know why actually. And why this was allowed to happen, why nobody pointed this out. This here is a tripping hazard. So there's nothing to stop people walking up here and tripping over that. So that, for some reason, was put in above ground level. So that means that these either are going to stay virtually forever, or there's going to be some kind of permanent railings put around, or that needs to be made flush so that it doesn't, or some other kind of solution needs to be found to make sure that that metal plate there is not a tripping hazard. Again, it's just the cluelessness and the lack of attention to detail. So we still got this as a temporary surface. This was going to be another planting area, but because that, I think, is going to be some kind of entertainment venue, so obviously they will be wanting people to spill out onto here. I think now that's going to be just bricked over, possibly, rather than planted. I hope it is going to be planted at some point. So again, the mountain ash looks fine. I mean, luckily we have had some rain recently and temperatures have cooled down a bit, so hopefully that means that anything that's has survived this summer so far, next year should look better, look bigger, be more drought tolerant. But again, it's all just evergreen stuff. Begonia, Tiarella, Sarcococca again. Again, that's an Amelanchier. Maybe okay, may come back. Again, looks a bit spotty around here. And you can see there, you've got a wrapper a box from Greg's there, I think. Because again, there's no dustbins here. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm quite surprised that it's as clean as what it is. Because when I've been down here before, this whole area is a complete mess with people just dumping the rubbish. Right, so we've got some litter bins now. Right, okay. Looks like they have taken note. Although rather than right in your way of your footpath, it'd be better if it was just there at the corner. Perfect space for a dustbin. Not blocking people's walk through. So yeah, so everything that has survived looks to be in good health. The litter levels look quite low for a kind of Saturday afternoon in the city centre. But there is a lack of colour. And the planting still looks quite spotty. Even though things like these grasses are filling out, there's a lot of space in between them. Some of the grasses have died there. look at that. That's a I can't remember what it's called. Is there a label on it? It's Australian. And again, that will cope with a lot of drought. And that's flowering lovely. It's absolutely loving that. And the bees are on it as well. I'm sure it begins with A. Can't remember what they call it. However, you look at the rest of it and it's all a bit naff. All a little bit naff, and again they put one of these stones here. I mean, I'm not sure how much these stones cost, but I would imagine they're probably more expensive than to actually plant this up. So, but then again, if it stops people wandering across, again, that might be a good thing. So yeah, let's just wander down and have a look at this final bit on High Street, or shall we say the junction of High Street and Fargate. I got a bottle there. Yeah, so there's several stones on that side there. And one here. But hopefully, so that will hopefully keep people from walking down here, because you can see there's nothing planted here at all. But because that's there, anybody coming down from Church Street, you know, they're not going to walk into that. They are going to be kind of corralled around here. So hopefully that will be enough to make sure that you can plant more down there. And also maybe another stone down at the bottom to deter people walking again up this way from High Street. So again, just the big positive I take, well, most of the things seem to have survived the really hot, dry weather that we've had this summer. You know, we've still got another maybe month and a half, maybe even 2 months before we're kind of into proper autumnal weather, although that could come in August. It could come as late as November, or it could come as early as August. So that's the positive. The positive is most of the plants seem to have survived. The big negatives for me are not so much litter this time, but that's obviously something that will go in swings and roundabouts, but it just needs removing as quickly as possible. The main two issues are the spottiness of planting and the lack of colour. Lack of colour is really quite disappointing. And certainly I hope that there is a plan, once you've been through the first summer, to actually replant in autumn, you know, parts of the area, parts of the planting that haven't taken, you know, and just really kind of bulk it up with some colour for next year. It's got euphorbia here. No, sorry, euonymus, isn't it? Not euphorbia, euonymus. Again, an amelanchier with a branch broken there. Should be okay. So again, these stones. There shouldn't really be anybody coming from that side of the road to go straight across here, because you've got that barrier there, you've got the tram tracks. They should go around and therefore avoid this at all. So there shouldn't be an issue with people going that way. It's mainly people going up and down between High Street and Fargate. So yeah, what am I going to give it at the moment? Certainly it could do better. Certainly there needs to be a big improvement. First year, first summer, I can't really give it more than 6 out of 10. So if we say 5 out of 10 would be average, 6 out of 10 is just above average. But I'm looking for a 9 or a 10 out of 10, and we're a long way from that. So yeah, so this is nearly half an hour long, so I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't think I've got anything else to say, other than I probably won't be making any more videos on the city centre Greater Green, and I emphasise the city centre, or the kind of Fargate Greater Green, this year, not now till next year, maybe next summer. To see how the scheme has progressed. So yeah, so at the moment 6 out of 10. So from Sheffield City Centre on High Street and bottom of Fargate with the tram going past, I'll say bye for now. Bye for now.